So, the other day, my manager used the terms going postal and jonesing, two phrases which I'd never really heard of. And as it turns out, the origins for these two phrases are quite fascinating and a bit edgy, I guess. The first one I want to talk about is going postal. This is a word that can be used to describe somebody who is extremely and uncontrollably angry. Now, I don't have a whole lot of interactions with the post office, but I wouldn't really use the term uncontrollably angry to describe it. As it turns out, the phrase is derived from a series of violent and deadly shootings by postal workers that occurred between the 1970s and the 90s. Around 20 of these mass shootings took place during this time, all for seemingly random and unrelated reasons. These events became so concerning that the US Congress even held a meeting to discuss the mass shootings going on with the postal servants. In total, around 40 people were killed as a result of these incidents. I think this phrase perhaps fell out of popularity with the public since, making a joke on mass shootings could definitely be seen in poor taste. If you don't give back my sweater, I'm gonna go full Sandy Hook. Jesus, man. I'm really sorry. What is wrong with you? You really shouldn't be saying that. That's really insensitive. I'm really sorry. The second word I want to talk about is jonesing. This is a word used to describe a strong craving, yearning for something. So much so that you start shaking, almost like you're having a withdrawal. Like, whoa, he's really jonesing for that cup of coffee. Or heroin. That's right. The term jonesing is actually specifically originated to describe heroin addicts. Although unsubstantiated, the popular urban theory is that the term was coined due to a street in New York City being famous for heroin, named Jones Street. However, according to this article that I found, about half of the registered drug addicts in the 1970s came from New York, so perhaps it has some merit after all. Anyway, the drug itself eventually became to be known as Mr. Jones, as sort of a code word so that you can be sneaky. But I think it's kind of obvious when someone is trying to cover something up when they use bizarre words like that in casual conversations. Hey man, I'm looking for some glamaglaglablaby. Yeah, I got you. You guys are talking about cocaine, aren't you? Nowadays, the word actually isn't really associated with heroin, just more of a general term for craving. People who use the word may not even know what it actually means. Like, the whole reason why I made this video was because my manager, thank you Adam, was like, I bet you're really jonesing to get started. And upon looking up the actual definition of the word, we were like, yeah, we probably shouldn't say this at work. As a bonus, I decided to add in a word that is probably the most familiar to my audiences. I myself use this word till this day, dope. As some of you may know, this word basically means cool, like, oh, that hat is dope. I do know that the word is synonymous with the word drugs, whether it be I'm smoking dope or doping, like trying to get jacked at the gym. So my immediate thought process was like, okay, doing drugs equals cool, so hence dope means cool. Please note that Unsolicited Tales does not encourage doing drugs. And while that is partially true, the etymology of the word dope goes back quite a bit further than I realized. As it turns out, the word dope comes from the early 1800s Dutch word for dupe, which means thick sauce. And by the late 1800s, the word was commonly used to describe a newly booming product, opium, which at the time took the form of an almost paste-like substance. By the 1900s, the word dope gradually just kind of evolved into encompass all other drugs as well. It wasn't until the 1980s where the word dope transformed into the modern, cool synonym, where it started being used in hip-hop songs. I know many of you have heard of the word dope, but have you guys heard of anyone else using going postal or jonesing? What other strange slangs have you heard your parents use maybe? Are you an older person that uses these slangs? Does using the word dope make me an old person? What were home prices like in the 1990s? Also, I thought it would be fun to kind of hold a mini Q&A of sorts at the end of each video. So if you have something you want to ask me, just comment down below and I'll try to answer them in my next video. And if you could lob a like on this video, that would be super cool. If not, I'll still think you're super cool anyway. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'm Garen, and...
you.